So the 7.0 magnitude earthquake that struck Haiti on January 12, 2010, it displaced over 2.1 million people in the capital of Port-au-Prince, killed about 220,000 Haitians, injured over 300,000 people, and destroyed around 175,000 homes, just to give you an understanding of the scope of the destruction. So prior to the Haiti earthquake, some of the major issues were involved with infrastructure. In terms of roads, Haiti's roads were very rocky, not really developed. At the policy level, there was no real code or building regulation to enforce the best practices. Also, with regards to water and sanitation, those systems weren't really in place in rural and urban areas. And with regards to power and electricity, what you found prior to the earthquake was that majority of the Haitians, they were kind of illegally receiving their electricity, but there was no real main distribution to connect with EDH. So our project, in essence, we were looking to address some of these infrastructure issues. So to give a snapshot of Haiti after the earthquake, there was a peak of about 1.5 million people living in camps that has since gone to about 490,000 people. However, there's still a need to get these people out of the camps because this is just a temporary solution. Also, when the UN forces from Nepal came in, it was discovered that they brought cholera with them. And what happened was that disease has since claimed the lives of 7,000 Haitians. And also, there's a food insecurity problem that's affecting 45% of the population that does not have access to edible food or to food and nutrition that gives them a good livelihood. During the first semester, which was our design phase, our team had the opportunity to consult experts who had local ties to the Haitian community. Our first expert was a local Haitian architect who gave us a sense of community development. She pointed out that within our design, we need to emphasize the community and consider how Haitians will interact with their neighbors. That gave us some insight because initially we were thinking about houses independently, and she said, no, you should think about an overall community model. Next, we consulted a structural engineer who volunteered his time through the Tier Fund, and he gave us the notion of cultural acceptance.
Throughout our research, we found that almost all the money went straight to immediate disaster relief, and no one was really thinking ahead of what would happen afterwards. So you were left without a transition stage, which kind of brought us to this thing called disaster relief paralysis, I guess. And essentially it's all these NGOs and relief organizations were just pumping money into the tents and the camps and the immediate relief, and no one was thinking of the post-disaster relief solutions. So when it was time for the families that were displaced to start their lives again, there really was no opportunities there. No one thought about the transition. So most people were stuck in these camps, which really, over time, became slums. So we revisited our original model and decided that immediate disaster relief is already overdone, so we should address something else. So we changed our design and wanted to focus on post-disaster relief development, because that is where Haiti is lacking right now. So with this, we can get the families out of the camps to a long-term, sustainable housing and infrastructure solution that they can have ownership of.